Well, hi everybody, and welcome to today's Wednesday Walkabout. We've got a couple of things on our plate. I am thinking pumpkins and I am thinking Southern living plants. So number one, we're going to try to answer or help answer that question. How do we decide just how many pumpkins we need? And actually, there's a formula for that, and we can try working it. Number two, I am waiting. I've got my phone here to be notified when the Southern living plants are going to be arriving this morning for the new bed on the east side. Lots of stuff going on today. Pretty exciting, and let's just say it's 95 and I need something to be excited about. So there you go. Now, right here, I want to put up a couple of screenshots that it's a formula that can kind of help you determine how many large, how many medium size, and how many small pumpkins you want. And I usually use some version of this. And I think the key elements are you're using odd numbers, which we typically know from a design standpoint is just more appealing to the eye. The other thing is we're going to determine how many clusters of that formula we want. So when I'm determining that for my own garden, I look at it from a distance, I look at it from up close, and then thirdly, I look at it from the perspective of where do I have voids in the garden that I want to fill, which is especially important to me right now because I've got that big garden tour coming up on October 4th to benefit the Friends of OU Breast Institute. We will put a link in the description box below, but you can also just come that day, October 4th, and you can buy tickets at the door. It starts at 10 o'clock. Okay, so now let's take a break here, and when we come back, I'm going to show you where I am intuiting I need some clusters of pumpkins. Okay, to every rule there is an exception, and the exception to the rule of the clusters I just gave you is going to be my window box. I've got two boxwood cones that I'm going to be transplanting in here. Number one is right here, and then I've got another one in the back in a pot that's approximately the same size. Ideally, they're not quite as big as I would like them to be, but they will continue to grow in the window box, so that's okay. So I'll be transplanting those on a day that's a little bit cooler. But then one thing I noticed, I think last year, was I really didn't have enough pumpkins and gourds in the window box to make a statement down, well, from a distance. And so I'm gonna be doing that this time. So this is gonna be my cluster number one. And instead of doing the large, medium, and small, or as I like to think, the mama bear, papa bear, and baby bear formula, I'm just going to be using kind of a clump of these, or just kind of a clump of pumpkins in here. So I'm seeing a number of medium pumpkins and maybe 2 or 3 small ones. So on my list, I'm going to put 3 medium of varying medium sizes, and then I'll tuck in some smaller ones. Well, I can have fun while I'm rowing, but I can't necessarily talk when I'm rowing that hard. A lot of you have asked me what my workout routine is on the Averon, which I've been using for about 8 months now. And what I love about Averon is that for me, it kind of meets me where I am. So I completed a whole training session, and then I went to Ireland, and then I got sick. And so that kind of put the kibosh on my regular workout routine. And because it's so much fun, I got right back to it, but in a different way. So before I start a whole new, week by week training regimen where I'll progress forward, I'm just gonna have some fun. Now Hubs, who by the way, just had knee surgery, and for which gentle rowing is gonna be really good. Once he's at that stage of his rehab, he'll play this little fishing game. And I can compete with other people, and well, it's just fun. If you are not really engaging and getting into the fun and the action of it all, then you're missing out. And not only that, you know, you can still compete with others while you're tracking yourself and competing against yourself, because it's compatible, you know, with Strava, with my Apple Watch, all those kind of metrics that we all want to be attentive to as we track our own workout routines. So if you want to have fun, if you want a similar workout routine as mine, and for me right now, it's about 20 minutes a day. So I highly encourage you to look at the QR code on the screen and tap it if you too want to be part of the rowing Avalon team, or the treadmill, or the bike, whatever suits your fancy. Just do it. Okay, clump number 2 is going to be on either this berm or that berm. I'm actually not sure. I can decide that when I get the pumpkins. But I want one pretty large one, and then 3 medium to large, and then a number of large, smallish ones, if that makes any sense. But either on this side or that side, I want a clump of pumpkins, and I want them to look as if they're almost rolling down the hill. Now, when I do pumpkin clumps, I don't really want a lot of symmetry. So it will be either a pumpkin clump on this side or a pumpkin clump on that side. That's kind of hard to say, but I don't want 2 pumpkin clumps. There's enough going on in the garden right now. I'm also, this is what I'm thinking, what I actually decide is yet to be determined, but I'm really not wanting to go with the real orange ones. I'm really wanting to go with white, the more apricot ones, pinkish colored ones, if you will, for the garden tour. So that's what I'm thinking. So clump number 2, I'm going to call Berm clump, and I will put them on my list. Okay, now this clump is something that I loved so much last year that I'm going to replicate. Actually, I think I did it the past 2 years, and I want to replicate it this year. And that is, if I have my berm clump over there, I will put my topiary of fairy tale pumpkins right here. And that's 1 large, 1 medium, and 1 small stacked in a topiary form on a plant stand. So if my berm clump is there, my topiary will be here. If my berm clump is there, my topiary will probably be here. And then here's a tip that's also in my book, because I like to mimic the look of cornstalk. What I typically do is I get dried iris foliage that kind of looks like that. I take them from my neighbors and I stick them in there so it kind of looks like cornstalk foliage in between the varying pumpkins. So I think that can be kind of pretty. So that is my clump number 3. It's going to be either here or there. And here you go. Here is my very cool and breezy outfit of the day, starting with my fabulous dangle earrings. These are from my friend Elizabeth's Atrios tile, and I love them. They're blue and white, and you may, and I apologize if you have heard them clinking against my mic, but they're very fun. They're very fun to wear, and I love big earrings, a signature touch of mine. Number 2, this is just an easy breezy cotton button-down shirt. I have it in 3 different colors. I bought it online, and I will put a link below. My sunglasses are just inexpensive, John Lennon type look-alike, kind of hippie-ish, sunglasses. My breeches, you have seen these before. These are just cotton linen breeches that belong to my son Johnny, and I just took them over and love them. I wear them frequently. And my tennies. Can you see them? Kind of Chanel looking. I got those, I think I got those online. So there you go. There's my outfit du jour, plus my indispensable iPhone right now because I am waiting. I am waiting for FedEx to call about the Southern Living plants. Who knows? We don't know, do we, Stuart?
Nope.
If they'll arrive and be in this video or maybe in the next video, we're going to leave you in suspense. In the past, I have done, your standard orange versions of pumpkins and gourds, which I do love. But this year, I'm putting a more feminine wash on it. And here I'm seeing just a bunch of white gourds, gray gourds, white pumpkins maybe, and some smaller ones that I'll just be tucking into my different pots. So I'm seeing lots of baby boo pumpkins. I'm seeing lots of gray gourds and things. And this is probably where I will have, in addition to the topiary, where I'll have the fairy tale pumpkins, the ones that are a little bit more whimsical. No space here for a mammoth pumpkin. So this is going to mostly be medium to largish, plus medium, plus, that's hard, a bunch of small baby boo gourds and things. Well, I hope you find it helpful in watching me determine how many pumpkins I need or where I want to put my pumpkins, because it might be informative for you. You can kind of look at your landscape in the same way. You might also see areas that you think I should have some that I don't already have some. That said, in general, my overarching rule is you can hardly ever have too many tulips or too many pumpkins. So, by the way, I am loving my railing. So this is another area that I want to accentuate with some pumpkins. And give me your input. I'm thinking about keeping it kind of simple here. Maybe with two medium finial pumpkins right here. And maybe just a couple small ones in the windows, kind of just, like lanterns or something in the windows. So I'm thinking about that. And then I'm also thinking about one kind of medium to largish one right there. I'm also thinking about keeping it really simple and just having one large one right there. Probably an orange one as I start getting to the back where my orange pumpkins will be. So give me your thoughts on that. Either like 3 mediums plus a couple smalls, or just 1 medium to large. So there's my dilemma right there. And yes, all of those plants that I've dug up are waiting for a new home, and maybe they'll get it today. Okay, this is autumn's edge, time to shine. The lantana is drawing all sorts of monarchs, really, really beautiful. It's starting to cascade over the edge. The obsession nandinas look fabulous. And you might think, oh, well, then this would be the perfect time to enhance their beauty by putting some pumpkins along autumn's edge. But there are times when what you are inclined to do aesthetically needs to take a back seat to practicality. And this walkway, this sidewalk gets tons and tons of traffic. And maybe with no malice intended, I can see some prankster young'uns deciding to take some of these pumpkins and dropping them on the sidewalk or picking them up and throwing them at one of the other school kids. And so pumpkin practicalities are going to dictate that autumn's edge is just going to have to be beautiful on its own without any addition of gourds and pumpkins and other kind of Halloween accoutrement. And before I forget, we've got a big announcement this weekend of a partnership that I am starting with a name you are very familiar with, and we'll be announcing that this weekend. But I digress. Okay, this is making me not feel very good right now. So this is very much an example of a person's greatest strength is their greatest weakness. And that is when I get an idea in my head, I am ready to execute. And I thought it was the perfect time to execute this, because when we transplanted all of these sunshine ligustrum, it was cool, it was misty, it was cloudy, it was rainy. And I thought very foolishly that those kinds of temperatures would continue or not get much worse. But I was wrong, and today it's 95. Happily, our nighttime temperatures have been low, but these ligustrum here on the end that are in more sun, they've really taken a hit. And so I probably should have been more patient to move these, but I wanted it done, and therein lies my failing as a gardener. Do I think they're still alive? Yes, I do think they're still alive, but they're not looking very good. And I would be much happier if they were happy. You know, that expression, you're only as happy as your least happy child. Well, sometimes for me, I'm only as happy as my least happy plant. And two of these are not happy, even though we've been trying to keep water on them. I haven't been able to go ahead and install the sprinkler system here yet, even though it's piped to do so, because we want to install the plants first, and then we will run the drip line in and around, weaving in and around the plants, which, as I have said many, many times today, when are they going to arrive? Sometime this morning, but we don't know when. So that's the status of all of this. Yes, I'm a little woeful about what's going on, but I'm trying to remain optimistic. And if you enjoy these kind of Wednesday walkabouts filled with surprises and tips, then please make sure to give us a thumbs up, like us, subscribe, and most importantly, share with others who might want to be part of this garden-inspired living community. And let the pumpkinizing in the backyard begin. I think I'm just gonna get a big mound of maybe 15 medium to large pumpkins. Oh my gosh, I see a FedEx truck. A big truck. I don't think they contacted me to let me know they were going to be here, but I have a feeling that might be our FedEx truck. So Stuart, I'm going to take a break right here and talk to the driver and see if that's my plants.
Oh, no problem.
Did I get to ride this last time, Stuart?
I think maybe.
Well, it's always a good day when a big truckload of Southern Living plants pulls up. Today is definitely a good day. What could be a better day than talking about plants and pumpkins? I don't know. So stay tuned. We're going to show what arrived this weekend. You can tell I'm out of breath from unpacking some of it. And what a great guy David was. What a great guy. So be staying tuned for all of that. Stay tuned for all of that this weekend. I'm out of breath. And let's wrap up our pumpkinizing video today with what I want to do back here. And I think the most important thing is this is where I'm going to play with all of those deep, classic autumnal colors, the oranges, the golds, the deep oranges, all of that, the russets, all that's going to be done back here. And I think last year I did a bunch of pumpkins kind of running up and down the steps, and this year I'll put some, but I think I'm a little bit more inclined maybe to do lots of mulching with pumpkins. So maybe lots of mulching with pumpkins around my boxwoods, tucked into the crevices of my container plantings, because to me, that's a really important component of container plantings. And as much as I've been feeding my geraniums and relying on them to have lots of color for the garden tour, well, it's turned hot, so you can see that a lot of these geraniums are starting to fade. So I am looking at pumpkins on the steps. I am looking at pumpkins on my plant terraces of varying sizes. I'll just be tucking them, lots of plant tucking. So I'm gonna call this maybe 15 medium, maybe 3 kind of large, and a whole boatload, however you define that, of small Jack B. Littles, Baby Boos, gourds, things like that. And then I'll just play with them. And if I feel like I need some more in some other places, that then I can always make a second trip. And so that's another tease, because later this week we're going to be going to Bricks and we're going to start selecting some of our pumpkins. We're going to talk a little bit about what is really good value for your buck in not only picking out a pumpkin, but also picking out fall flowers like mums and things like that. And I've got a couple of tips, because we think of mums typically as being kind of a short-term transient element in the garden, but I've got a couple of thoughts on that, and we'll discuss that when we're at Bricks this weekend. So I don't know about you, but I've got my work cut out for me today, and I am excited. And thank you guys for sharing my joy during a difficult time. I appreciate it. I am very, very aware how fortunate I am, and I'm so fortunate to have you guys in my life and share in what happiness there is out there right now. So thank you for joining me on this Wednesday Walkabout, and Stuart and I will see you this weekend.